Hi there, this is Cody Riddle, real estate broker and owner of the Riddle Group, brokered by eXp Realty. Today we are going to talk about what's really going on in the greater Phoenix area real estate market now that we're in February. It's no hype and no panic, just the facts. First, inventory. So active listings are sitting at about 22,600. That's pretty flat compared to this time last year. But here's the real story. The inventory jumped nearly 10% from last month. So from January to February, active listings are up 10%. And that's not because buyers disappeared. It's because so many sellers paused their sale during the holidays and flooded back on the market in January. And you guys know supply and demand. More homes means more competition. So let's talk about the demand. Pending listings are down about 4% over last year. But that number is misleading. More agents are using the UCB designation for a listing status when it's under contract rather than the pending status. And when it's under UCB, it's still counting as an active listing. But if we look at everything that is truly under contract, then we're actually up 2.2% over last year and a big 3.1% over last month. So yes, buyers are active, but they're super selective. Moving on to closings. In January, we had 4,843 sales closed. Now that's a bit higher than last year, but it's down 24% from December. But before you panic, January did have fewer working days than both December and January of last year. And fewer working days typically means fewer closings. Still, this is a bit underwhelming considering mortgage rates are now at 6.2% when they were at 7% this time last year. The lower rates helped, but they didn't quite create the frenzy or ignite a frenzy that people had hoped. Now let's talk about pricing. Average price per square foot is up 3.7% from December. And that sounds great, but here's the important part. The median sales price dropped. The median is now $447,000 across the board, and that's down 1.8% from last month and about 1.5% from this time last year. Now this tells us that the middle of the market is under more pressure. And why that's important, right? Luxury is performing well. The higher end homes are seeing stronger demand, but the lower and the middle price ranges, they're just facing so much more competition that's creating price sensitivity. And that gap between rising average price per square foot and a falling median is super unusual. But it clearly shows how split our market is. And the overall market temperature, what this all comes down to, is the Cromford Market Index, and that is at 88.1%. Now, it'd be super silly for me to talk about a Cromford Market Index without telling you what 88.1 actually means. At 100, the Cromford Market Index at 100 would mean a perfectly balanced market. There are as many buyers as there are sellers, and it's balanced. Anything under that, like the current 88.1, lends itself to a buyer's market. Now, the Cromford is slightly up from last month, but lower than this time last year. So this is a buyer-leaning market. It's stable, cool, not hot. So here's the overall takeaway. The buyers have choices and sellers have competition. That gives buyers leverage. The luxury is holding strong, and the middle of the market requires precision. This is not a market to test pricing, and it's not a market to sit on the sidelines waiting for a crash. Strategy matters. So if you're buying, selling, or trying to figure out where your home fits into today's market, this is what I do and I help with every single day. So reach out if you want clarity instead of noise. Talk to you soon.